Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Blevin Robinson with West Coast Cajun Cuisine. Today's video, crawfish bread. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here and you're interested in learning how to cook authentic Cajun cuisine, comfort food, and just about anything for that matter, then you've come to the right place. Click that subscription button, that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now today's video is crawfish bread. Oh man, I am super excited about this one. I love this stuff. Now, I first discovered this at a restaurant in New Orleans called Copland's. If you're not familiar with Copland's, Al Copland was the founder of Popeye's Chicken. Now, throughout the years and different things that happened, Popeye's has moved on to different ownership and management and stuff, but he was the founder of Popeye's. And he also had a bunch of other, kind of upscale, top-tier restaurants. And one of those was Copland's. Now, on the menu, there was an appetizer called crawfish bread. That stuff was so delicious. Sometimes I would go to Copland's and I would just order 2 crawfish breads. And that's what I would have for dinner. Stuff was delicious. So now I finally found a recipe and I tweaked it to the point that I'm satisfied with. And now I want to bring this to you guys. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to the recipe and then we'll get to the kitchen and I'll show you how to make it. Here's your recipe. Now you can go ahead and take a screenshot, or if you look down in the description box, I'll have the recipe there as well. Plus, eventually it will be updated on the westcoastcajun.com website. Alright, so I started off by heating up a frying pan on a medium heat, and I'm going to add some butter. Now, once I get the butter in there, I'm going to let it melt and come up to temp, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my vegetables. Now, what I want to do here is just saute these vegetables for about 7 minutes or so. You're going to notice that your onions become translucent, and when they start to do that, that is your cue to add your garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of garlic cloves and I'm going to press them through this garlic press here. And then once I get that in there, I'm going to go ahead and season the vegetables. Now I'm only going to use about half my seasoning at this point. And then once I get that in there, we'll give it a good mix. And we'll let this saute for probably about another 3 minutes or so and let that garlic cook down and get nice and yummy. Alright, now what we're going to do is add our crawfish. These are already cooked crawfish tails. I purchased these from the Louisiana Crawfish Company, and I will leave a link to their website in the description box below in case any one of you are interested. Now what we're going to do is just give this a nice mix and just warm the crawfish tails through. We're not trying to cook them because they're already cooked, and if you cook them too long, they will get all mushy and nasty, and we don't want that. Alright, at this point I've turned my heat off. I'm going to add the rest of the seasoning, and then we're just going to make sure it's mixed well together, okay? So after that we'll remove it, let it cool off for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Now we're going to start off with the mayonnaise and then the mustard, and what we want to do is make sure this is all mixed really well, okay? Make sure it's well incorporated. You almost want it to look like a nice sauce, okay? And then from there, what we'll do is we'll add the cheese. Okay, I have some grated cheese here. You've seen a couple of clips there at the very beginning of the video, so I'm just going to add all the cheese here. Now, we're not worried about it being melted just yet, but we just want to make sure that all of this is just well mixed together and just makes one kind of cohesive mixture. And then what we do once we get this all nice and mixed is we're going to break out our bread and we're going to spread it over the bread. Okay, now if you want to do it like the Jazz Fest, they make it like a sandwich. This is how you would spread it on your bread. And I have some baguettes here. You can use French bread, it doesn't matter. But you put it on each layer and then you put the top on like a sandwich. Then you would wrap it in foil and then bake it in the oven at 425 for about 10 to 15 minutes. But I want to do it the way I remember it from Copland, so I'm going to do it open face. So I'm going to spread this on all of the pieces of bread, and then I'm going to bake it in the oven at 425 for about 10 minutes. Now that it's finished baking, the only thing left to do is chop up some flat leaf Italian parsley, sprinkle it over the top, maybe a little bit of green onion, and enjoy. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, crawfish bread. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I'd really appreciate that. Hey, make sure you stick around for next week. I'm going to bring another exciting video to you. Not exactly sure which one I want to bring yet, but it's going to be a good one, I promise. If you haven't already, click that subscription button and that notification bell so you don't miss it. And while you're here, check out one of the other videos on the channel, and I'll see you there.